Hey crafters, welcome to my channel, Crafters Autonomous. It is Amanda here. So for this week's Tutorial Tuesday, this is kind of a follow-up to a video I did several weeks back in which I showed you how to take plastic tablecloths and turn them into plarn, or plastic yarn, plarn. So it's a super cool way to make fairly inexpensive yarn, plus you're kind of recycling and upcycling, so it's a really neat medium to work with. So if you haven't watched that video, give it a watch and make your own ball of Tablecloth Plarn. So at the end of that video, I told you that I was going to try to come up with a project to use the Tablecloth Plarn for, and so I'm going to deliver on that promise today with these fun Tablecloth Plarn coasters. So you need to make your plarn, and then we will jump into the tutorial on how to crochet these. Alright, so this is how the coaster looks. This is one that is just like what we will be making in the video today. Of course, you can follow along with the same pattern without using plarn, and you can just use regular yarn. This is just some red heart and kind of a dark color. But you could opt for something like a cotton yarn that would wash really nicely, and it looks super cute. Which yarn you use is totally up to you, but as I said, I'm going to be showing you how to do it with the plastic tablecloth plarn. So obviously we will need some plarn. This is from a tablecloth. It was already kind of torn up and ragged, so my plarn's not super neat, but if you follow the video that I'm gonna link up there somewhere, if you follow that video, it'll show you a way to make really nice plarn where it won't be quite so ragged like mine. Next we'll need a crochet hook. I'm using the size K. It's a 6.5mm hook, just a standard aluminum crochet hook. And besides scissors, this is pretty much all we will need. So we need to start off by making the ring, and then this project will have 4 rounds to it. So I'm going to start with a slip knot and then chain 4. Now when you make your slip knots and things, you want to be careful that if you don't pull too tight, because if you pull really tight, it'll tear. So just kind of be aware of your tension. I'm going to size down my slip knot and chain 4, just like normal. 1. And because I have these extra tail pieces, I'm holding them down as I crochet. 2. 3. And 4. Once you have chained 4, we're going to slip stitch in the first chain to form a ring. So it can be a little tricky to find with the plarn, but just kind of look towards the beginning, find a spot like right here that looks like it's about the first chain. We're going to go through there and join with a slip stitch. And now if I kind of spread it apart, we've created this nice little ring to work into. So for the first round, we're essentially going to do 12 double crochet. We're going to start by chaining 3. 1, 2, and 3. And that will count as our first double crochet. And so we need to do 11 more double crochet into the ring. And I like to work around this tail because then we don't have to weave it in later on. So this counts as our second double crochet. Work a third double crochet. A fourth double crochet. And we're going to keep going all the way around until we have 12 double crochet. So counting my initial chain 3 as my first double crochet, I now have 12 double crochet all the way around, and I'm going to find the top of the chain 3 that counts as our first double crochet, insert my hook, and slip stitch to join. So for our next round, we need to start by chaining 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to work a double crochet into the same spot where we joined. So right there where we just worked that join, double crochet right into there. And this is going to be the first of 6 of these. So we're going to do this pattern where we're going to skip the next stitch, but in the following stitch, we're going to double crochet, work 2 chains, and then double crochet. So skip that stitch, come to the next one, work a double crochet, chain 2, 1 and 2, and then another double crochet in that same spot. We will repeat that again, so skip the next stitch, and then in the following stitch, we will work a double crochet, chain 2, 1, 2. Like I said, my Plarn's a little bit scraggly because it was used for a different project before I turned it into Plarn. There's our second one, our second chain, and then we're going to work another double crochet into that same spot. So this is like our second double crochet. So every time what this pattern does, it creates this kind of V with some stitches in between. We're going to repeat this around. We're going to end up with 6 of these. So I've already done 3. I've got 3 more to go. All right, skip the spot, work a double crochet, 2 chain, and a double crochet into the following spot. Now that we have worked this pattern all the way around, we've got 6 of these little nubs here. And we've just got 1 stitch left. We're going to skip that stitch. We're going to find the 3rd chain. That's going to count as the top of our double crochet. Insert our hook and slip stitch to join. So round 3 is going to be another repeating pattern. The first thing we do is whenever we hit these chain 2 spaces, we're going to work 3 single crochet around them. So I'm just going to start working my first single crochet, a second single crochet. Again, I'm not really going into the chain stitches, I'm just working in that whole big space there. And a 3rd single crochet. Next, we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to skip the 2 double crochet spaces and repeat our pattern. So in this chain space, we will work 3 single crochet, 1, 2, and 3. Work 3 chain, 1, 2, and 3. Skip the double crochet and repeat our pattern. So I'll show you one more time. Skip those 2 double crochet and in the chain space, work 3 single crochet, 1, 2, and 3. And then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to finish that around and then I'll meet you when it's time to join. So I just worked my last set of 3 single crochets into a chain space, so it's going to be time to join, but we can't forget we've got to do our chain 3 after we do our 3 single crochet. So chain 1, 2, and 3. And now we can join to finish off this row. So I'm just going to find that first single crochet stitch from the round, insert my hook under there, yarn over and pull through everything to work that slip stitch. So now it's time for our 4th and final round. We need to slip stitch to the middle single crochet so we can get in place. Slip stitch over 1 space. And now we're going to start working our pattern. So the first one's a little bit different and then the pattern will develop as we go around. So this first time we need to start by chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first 3 count as a double crochet and that 4th chain is just a chain. So that's our first double crochet. Then in this same spot, we're going to do a second double crochet. So work that stitch and then chain. In the same spot, work a 3rd double crochet. And then another chain. Work a 4th double crochet into the same spot. Chain, and then work a 5th double crochet into the same spot. So this is our first flower petal, if you will. To finish it off, we're going to find the middle chain of our next chain 3 group. So we're going to go in right here, we're going to insert our hook and work a slip stitch. And I'll just kind of hold down the left side of that flower petal. Okay, so here's the pattern we're going to use for the rest of the time. It's really similar, just without that weird beginning. We're going to skip the next chain space, skip the next single crochet space, and that'll put us at the middle single crochet of the next group of 3 single crochet. In that middle one, right there, we're going to work a double crochet, and then a chain, a second double crochet in that same spot, and then a chain, a third double crochet in the same spot. You might be noticing a pattern by now. Yes, you guessed it. We will then work a chain, a fourth double crochet in the same spot, and then a chain, and last of all, a fifth double crochet in the very same spot. To finish it off, we'll find the middle chain of our next chain 3 group and work a slip stitch. So let me show you all that one more time. We're going to skip that chain, skip that single crochet, find the middle single crochet of our next group of 3 single crochet, and in that middle one we will work a double crochet, followed by a chain, a second double crochet in that same spot, also followed by a chain stitch, a third double crochet in that same spot, which we will follow up with a chain stitch, and then a fourth double crochet in that same spot, and then a chain, and last of all, our fifth double crochet, all in that same spot. To finish off the petal, I'm going to find the middle chain of my next chain 3 group, and I'm going to slip stitch to that middle chain. So I have 3 of my 6 petals done. I'm going to repeat the process I just showed on my next 3 spaces, except when I get to that 6th petal, we're gonna have to do something a little bit different with the slip stitch. So work all your petals, and then I'll show you how we deal with that last and final slip stitch. So I have worked all 6 of my petals. Now, as I mentioned, on the 6th petal, we do the slip stitch join just a little bit differently, and that's because when we did the first petal, it wasn't already tacked down. So what we need to do is we're going to start off by finding the middle chain of our next chain 3 group, and we're going to insert our hook through that stitch. Normally what we would do is we would work a slip stitch, but what we're going to do instead is we're also going to insert our hook through the beginning of this petal. So that's going to be in that 3rd chain from the bottom. So come up 3 chains and insert your hook kind of like in the corner. So now I have this loop on my hook, the chain 3 loop on my hook, and I have the corner of the flower petal. Now I am ready to work my slip stitch. Once I work that slip stitch, I'm going to pull up a nice big loop. I've got a knot there that's caught by, but that's okay. Just pull up a nice big loop. And I will cut the middle of that loop. My itty bitty scissors. Pull that tail out, and then I will carefully cinch this up. Just make sure when you cinch it up that you don't pull so hard that that happens. So last thing I need to do here then is I just need to hide this tail in. So I'm just gonna come with my hook. You can also use a smaller hook. That might be easier. And I'm just gonna come through and kind of catch my tail and pull it through a little bit so that way it's just tucked out of the way. Weave it in with my hook. Go through stitches on the back and just keep pulling it through. So once I've got it pulled through enough, I will trim that as well. As I mentioned, mine was really scraggly, so I have some of these tails and knot pieces, so as long as they're contained and it's not going to cause my project to unravel, I'm going to trim those up because it'll just make the project look nicer overall. So same with this little mess right here. Anywhere else I have these little tail pieces sticking out. If you have the tail from your beginning sticking out, you of course can trim that as well. Just anything you think needs trimming. Just make sure you don't trim actual stitches like, okay, that at first looked like an actual stitch, so I was gonna leave it if it was an actual stitch, but it wasn't, so I can trim it. You probably won't need as much trimming if you follow the video. Like I said, this was Plarn that had already been used for a different project, so it wasn't in that great shape. But there you go. Once you fasten off and weave in your tail ends, you now have these super cute Plarn coasters. I love these for outside especially because they can get dirty, they can withstand the weather. If they do get dirty, all you need to do is just rinse them with some water. You can even use a little soap if you wanted. Soap's really optional. Just rinse them with water, leave them out in the sun to dry, and they are good to go for next time. I also love how easy they are to customize, so if you want to make different sets for different seasons of the year, you obviously can do that just using different tablecloths. And of course, as I mentioned at the beginning, you could totally opt to make your coaster just using normal yarn instead of the Tablecloth Plarn. But thanks so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please subscribe to my channel, and if you're going to try this project, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. I will see you in my next video, and happy crafting!